Today we're meeting a man called Saul. Saul was a man who genuinely believed he was acting in God's name. He was reading the Bible, he memorized loads of it, he was going to church, he was praying, he was trained at the highest theological level. But what he spent his life doing was listening and looking out for people who were following Jesus. And when he found Christians, he would move in and take them out, persecute them, have them locked up, put in prison. He'd find some more and he'd move in and do exactly the same. He wanted to have some of them killed. And when Stephen was preaching and people started picking up stones to kill him, this young man Saul was the one who held their coats and gave approval to Stephen being murdered. But one day along the road, this young man Saul was on his way to persecute more people who loved Jesus. And all of a sudden, this bright light flashed all around him. And when he opened his eyes, he was completely left in the dark. During that moment, he heard this voice asking him, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" It was Jesus. And Jesus was explaining to Saul, all this damage you're doing, all this persecution, all this killing, all this violence is actually against the God that you claim you're doing it for. Saul thought he understood and saw everything, and Jesus had to blind him to help him to actually see. He was acting out of blindness, and the Bible says when the blind lead the blind, both will fall into a ditch. We can sometimes think that we're living for God because we are doing religious things, reading the Bible, memorizing, getting theological training. We like to think we do everything in the name of God. But when we harm others who love Jesus, we're actually hurting him. And all of us can fall into the trap of doing that. So let's turn from this lie together and actually follow what Jesus commands.
Turn to Jesus and live. Why will you die?